Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, in Emmerdale's latest explosive twist, the village is left reeling as Kev finally uncovers and reveals the long-buried truth about Lewis and his mysterious mother, a past filled with betrayal, danger, and a connection nobody ever saw coming. What begins as a tense confrontation soon spirals into one of the most dramatic revelations the village has faced in months, reshaping relationships and setting up a chain of events that will echo far beyond a single storyline. A tense return sparks old ghosts. Lewis has never quite fitted into the village. Although he tried to present himself as calm, polite, and dependable, there were always hidden cracks in his behavior, flashes of anger, strange disappearances, and moments where he seemed terrified someone might recognize him. But until now, nobody pushed him hard enough to break. Everything changed the moment Kev returned to Emmerdale with a determination that unsettled even the toughest villagers. Kev had been gone for months, and many assumed he'd left his trouble-filled life behind. But he returned with one mission. Expose Lewis. Expose his mother. And expose the dangerous past they'd both been hiding. The confrontation that lit the fuse. The clash happened outside the wool pack. Lewis had been arguing with Aaron earlier, clearly on edge, pacing, fidgeting, unable to settle. Kev approached with a look of grim certainty, as though he'd been replaying this moment every night since he left. The truth's coming out tonight, Lewis. Whether you like it or not. Lewis froze. His face dropped. And for the first time, the calm facade shattered completely. Aaron tried to intervene, but Kev's voice cracked through the air like thunder. Tell them what your mom did. Or I will. The crowd grew. Aaron, Chaz, Patty, Victoria, even Kane stepped in from the shadows, sensing something monumental was about to be revealed. The secret finally uncovered. What Kev revealed next shook the village to its core. Lewis's mother, Marianne Dalton, was not the quiet, reclusive woman Lewis had portrayed her as. She wasn't a helpless single mom struggling to get by. She was the mastermind behind a fraud ring operating across the north, a ring that Lewis had been involved in since he was just 15. Kev revealed that when he worked security years ago, he discovered Marianne's criminal operation by accident. But instead of turning her in, he crossed paths with Lewis, who at the time was scared, emotionally trapped, and fiercely protective of his mom. And the biggest shock? Marianne had used Lewis as a shield, forcing him to take the fall for crimes she'd committed. He'd served a stint in youth custody under a false confession. Lewis, pale and trembling, didn't deny a word of it. Lewis breaks down, the real story emerges. Through tears, Lewis confirmed everything. The audience around him fell silent as he spoke. He explained how Marianne manipulated him emotionally for years, guilt, threats, promises, and fear. From fake bank accounts to stolen identities, she pulled every string while convincing her son they were surviving together. But Lewis paid the price over and over again. He admitted he fled to Emmerdale hoping to build a new life, far away from the lies, the danger, and the people hunting Marianne. But she had resurfaced recently, calling him, demanding money, threatening to expose his whereabouts. And then came the most heart-stopping piece of the confession. She's in Yorkshire. She's looking for me. And she's not alone. Why? Kev finally spoke out. Aaron asked the question everyone was thinking. Why now? Why reveal this today? Kev revealed that he'd been contacted by a former colleague, someone who warned him Marianne's criminal network was active again. They were targeting villages and small businesses across the region, using the same methods as before. And Lewis, knowingly or unknowingly, had been seen meeting one of Marianne's old associates just days earlier. For Kev, it wasn't revenge. It was prevention. He didn't trust Lewis to keep the village safe from the chaos that follows Marianne like a shadow. The villagers needed to know the truth before another disaster struck. The village reacts, and divides. The aftermath split Emmerdale down the middle. Some, like Aaron and Victoria, felt a strange sympathy for Lewis. His pain was raw, his past tragic, his fear genuine. Others, particularly Kane and Chaz, weren't convinced. A man with a past like that rarely arrives alone. And they weren't willing to risk another criminal operation infiltrating the village, especially after recent events shook them all so deeply. Rumors spread fast. Fear spread faster. What happens next? The final moments of the episode teased a chilling development. Lewis returned home to find an envelope on his doorstep. Inside was a single photograph. Him, standing outside the woolpack earlier that day. On the back, in Marianne's unmistakable handwriting. "Found you." Lewis collapsed, shaking uncontrollably. Because the truth was out now. And so was she.